8 subtle indicators that an older individual might be preparing to part ways, and how to ensure they are not overlooked. Have you ever observed a subtle shift in someone dear to you, yet found it challenging to pinpoint what has changed? Could there be subtle indications that suggest a more profound issue is at play? Imagine a method to identify these signals before time eludes us. It is a common perception that in the later stages of life, death arrives unexpectedly. However, in truth, the body starts its preparations well ahead of the ultimate moment. The indications often emerge slowly, occasionally even a year in advance, in such subtle ways that they may go unobserved. The inquiry at hand is, what are we overlooking? Understanding these subtle cues can change not only our approach to caregiving, but also enhance the experience of sharing those precious final moments with our loved ones. Next, you will discover subtle indicators that often go unnoticed, yet can significantly impact your understanding. And before we start, I would really appreciate it if you like this video. You can also help me continue spreading these timeless lessons. If you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any videos. If you like this video, leave a comment with the number 1. If you don't, comment with the number 0 so I can improve future videos. Now let's get started. 1. As the breaths come in between the pauses and the chill settles in the limbs, the body quietly prepares to bid farewell. Have you ever observed someone's breathing patterns change? As though each breath felt more buoyant, more deliberate, or perhaps even uneven? Alterations in the breathing patterns stand out as a clear indication that the body is transitioning into a new stage, which, regrettably, is frequently the concluding one. As one approaches the final year of life, the body starts to adjust, operating with diminished energy levels. The act of breathing, once a seamless and instinctive process, now shows changes that highlight the body's struggle to uphold what is vital. It is often noticed that there are intervals between breaths. At times, an individual may start to breathe in a shallow manner, resembling a panting pattern even while at rest. The intervals, occasionally lengthy and disconcerting, form a pattern known as Cheney-Stokes breathing, marked by sequences of deep breaths interspersed with periods of no breathing. While it might seem daunting, this is a normal physiological response that leads to a reduction in cerebral blood flow. This breathing pattern is often observed in older individuals who are experiencing the advanced stages of heart, kidney, or neurological conditions. Another prominent sign can be observed on the skin. The extremities may feel cool against the skin, and the complexion can shift to a lighter tone, occasionally appearing purplish or mottled. This occurs as the heart starts to focus on delivering blood to essential organs, resulting in reduced circulation to the limbs. Numerous families perceive this as merely a sign of chill and hastily envelop the individual in layers of blankets. While this gesture is indeed caring and heartfelt, it is crucial to recognize that the issue extends beyond just the surrounding temperature. The chill in the limbs signals that the body is shifting into a mode of energy preservation, minimizing outer functions to focus on what remains vital. One noticeable alteration is the hue of the nails and lips, which may start to deepen slightly, suggesting a decline in oxygenation efficiency. This situation can worsen with the accumulation of fluids in the lungs, leading to increased difficulty in breathing. The individual might experience frequent coughing, produce sounds akin to gentle snoring, or exhibit signs of discomfort when lying flat in bed. In these circumstances, she often chooses to maintain a more upright posture, resting against pillows or even an armchair. It is essential to emphasize that these changes do not inherently imply significant distress. Frequently, the individual maintains a sense of tranquility despite the physical indications of deterioration. The absence of understanding regarding these signs among family members can indeed lead to distress. Understanding how to recognize them is essential in preventing actions that may lead to greater discomfort rather than providing relief. Gentle medications, soothing respiratory treatments, and the unwavering support of family and friends can provide greater comfort than any intense medical procedure during this period. If you observe that a loved one is experiencing irregular breathing, that your hands feel unusually cold, or that there are noticeable changes in skin color, take a moment to pay close attention. This could be the body quietly signaling that it is ready to unwind. Recognizing this in a timely manner can lead to providing greater comfort, enhanced dignity, and deeper love in the moments that are left. 2. When the plate is brimming and the glass remains unbroken, it serves as a caution that often goes unheeded. The decline in appetite among older adults is frequently linked to the natural process of aging. Expressions like, "he is not eating due to his age," are frequently heard among family members and caregivers. However, many may not recognize that when this transformation occurs consistently and is accompanied by additional symptoms, it can serve as one of the initial indicators that the body is approaching its concluding phase. Frequently, the initial indication appears subtly. The individual who once consistently requested a hearty serving during lunch now finds themselves leaving a significant amount uneaten on the plate. The weight of the cutlery feels burdensome in one's hands. The meat she cherished begins to appear bland. Gradually, the allure of the food begins to fade. This behavior, while understated, indicates a noteworthy shift in metabolism. The body, aware that its time is drawing near, diminishes the production of specific hormones associated with hunger. The digestive system experiences a gradual slowdown, with the intestines functioning at a more leisurely pace and a noticeable decrease in saliva production. The culmination of these factors transforms the straightforward act of eating into a considerable challenge. Moreover, there are alterations in taste and smell. The food begins to lack its once vibrant flavors, and even the textures that used to bring joy can start to become bothersome. Numerous older adults express that they experience discomfort while eating, or mention that food no longer has the same flavor for them. Some individuals may overlook meals, not due to a lack of interest, but because their brains no longer trigger the same signals to seek out food. It's not solely focused on solid nourishment. There is also a reduction in fluid intake. It is not unusual to find untouched glasses left behind on the table. This seemingly mild dehydration can hasten the body's decline, harming the kidneys, heightening mental confusion, and increasing the risk of infections. Concerned family members often seek to encourage appetite by presenting beloved dishes, treats, or nutritional supplements. However, during this transitional phase, compelling oneself to eat can lead to discomfort and nausea, resulting in more distress than benefit. At this point, the emphasis ought to transition from sheer volume to the excellence of the work. It is essential to provide light, easily digestible foods that bring joy, even in modest portions. Gelatins, broths, soft fruits, and natural juices are often more easily accepted. Furthermore, ensuring proper hydration through small spoonfuls of water or ice cubes can significantly enhance overall well-being. It is important to recognize that this refusal to eat is not a matter of obstinacy or carelessness. The body is indicating a retreat, conserving energy and focusing on vital functions. When an older individual starts to consistently decline food, it is important to pay closer attention. Reversing this situation is not always feasible. However, it is indeed feasible to provide solace, companionship, and dignity. Being present with a gentle touch, offering comfort to someone in their final moments, can be more fulfilling than any feast. At that moment, it is love that nourishes the soul. 3. The fatigue that lingers endlessly. When rising from bed turns into a struggle, picture waking up and sensing that merely opening your eyes drains all your energy. For numerous older individuals nearing the end of their journey, this is the truth they face. The energy that once made it easy to stroll to the kitchen, enjoy a refreshing shower, or comfortably sit at the table is slowly diminishing. A profound sense of fatigue envelops, and no matter how much rest is taken, it feels insufficient to rejuvenate the spirit. This fatigue is unlike the usual weariness that fades away after a restful night or a brief afternoon rest. The discussion revolves around a state of both physical and mental fatigue that lingers, remaining present even during moments of rest. Rising from bed transforms into a significant challenge. Making the journey to the bathroom can sometimes seem as daunting as scaling a mountain. This kind of fatigue stems from the gradual decline in the body's strength. As life approaches its twilight, the body gradually reduces the activity of its systems, conserving energy for the journey ahead. The flow of blood diminishes, the rhythm of the heart decelerates, and the breath becomes less profound. This situation has a direct impact on the muscles, leading to a decrease in the oxygen and nutrients they receive. The outcome is a persistent sense of frailty. As the body begins to tremble, the arms may feel weak, and even the most straightforward tasks can turn into significant hurdles. Alongside physical aspects, fatigue may also be associated with shifts in hormonal and metabolic processes. As the body becomes aware of its gradual decline, it begins to adapt its internal rhythm accordingly. As we age, our metabolism tends to slow, which can have an impact on how our bodies produce energy. Another significant aspect to consider is the emotional resonance. Recognizing personal limitations can lead to feelings of frustration, sadness, and even a sense of shame. Numerous older individuals refrain from seeking assistance to avoid the perception of being a burden. Some individuals, coming to terms with their changing abilities, choose to withdraw from social interactions. This sense of isolation can result in a lack of activity, which subsequently exacerbates feelings of weakness. Breaking this cycle presents a significant challenge. For family members, observing this process can be quite distressing. Observing an individual who has consistently led an active life, gradually becoming increasingly reliant on others, can evoke a sense of unease. It is often said that someone is becoming complacent, or that another should put in more effort. However, in many instances, it is not an issue of lacking determination. The body has reached a point where it can no longer respond. At this point, the priority is to embrace rather than impose. It is important to give seniors the opportunity to take a break whenever they require it. Modify the routine to ensure he can engage in significant moments without the need for physical exertion. Sharing a moment, even without words, holds significant meaning. If someone you care about is exhibiting persistent fatigue, even in the absence of strenuous activity, it's important to take notice. This may indicate that the body is experiencing heightened tension. By grasping this concept, we can shift feelings of powerlessness into a sense of presence and transform pain into compassion. At times, the most profound offering we can provide is our presence. 4. Engagement fades. Daily patterns become hollow, a signal that marks a conclusion. The woman who once delighted in her favorite soap opera now finds herself gazing out the window in quiet contemplation for hours on end. The man who once eagerly anticipated every game of dominoes now finds himself hesitant to leave the comfort of his bed. Such circumstances occur more frequently than one might realize, often perceived merely as fleeting moments of sorrow or a deficiency in engagement. However, it is important to recognize that a diminishing enthusiasm for daily activities may serve as an early indication that both the body and mind are beginning to say farewell. And as individuals approach the later stages of life, it is not unusual for them to gradually withdraw from their surroundings. It is not a question of lack of interest stemming from negative intentions, nor is it about being unmotivated. The journey encompasses both physiological and emotional dimensions. The mind starts to lessen its attention to outside distractions in order to conserve energy. Emotions that were once deeply felt start to become more fragile. What once sparked joy now feels rather unremarkable. There is a gradual shedding of the familiar patterns. This separation might lead to a decrease in conversations, diminished reactions, and a reduction in expressions. The individual appears to be somewhat removed, as if their mind is wandering elsewhere, despite their physical presence in the moment. The alteration in behavior may be intensified by factors like depression, dementia, or even profound fatigue resulting from the body's natural decline. Another significant aspect is that, upon recognizing their vulnerability, numerous older individuals opt, whether intentionally or not, to embark on a journey of reflection. They retreat within themselves, gradually bidding farewell to the joys that once brought them happiness, and start to appreciate the tranquility of silence over the distractions of the outside world. This period often sees an increased focus on spirituality. Thoughts on life, cherished memories, and discussions surrounding mortality begin to arise with greater regularity. This indicates that the individual is beginning to emotionally ready themselves for departure. It may be challenging for those in your life to embrace this new chapter. It is common to feel the urge to uplift older individuals, encouraging them to engage in various activities and attempting to restore their former routines. However, this is not always feasible, and it can frequently lead to additional strain and deterioration. At this moment, it is essential to shift the emphasis. Beyond the effort to revive, it is essential to embrace. Engage fully, hear without forming opinions, honor moments of quiet and reflection. Provide gentle experiences, like a serene chat, soothing melodies, or a short stroll through the garden. Simple acts that demonstrate that, despite the increasing distance in our world, love continues to stay near. When you observe that someone dear to you has lost interest in the activities that once brought them joy, take a moment to regard them with warmth and affection. This could be an opportunity to foster new connections that are gentler, more nuanced, and more profound. For ultimately, what holds significance is not merely the actions taken, but the quality of your togetherness. 5. Chronic ailments that persist and injuries that refuse to mend, the body struggles to maintain its resilience. Have you observed how, in some older individuals, a common flu can persist for weeks on end, or how minor injuries often linger without resolution? These signs, frequently overlooked, may suggest that the immune system is weakening, a situation that often arises in the final year of life. As we grow older, the immune system gradually diminishes in strength. It takes more time to recognize and address potential dangers. As a result, common infections like colds, urinary tract infections, and the flu tend to occur more often, with increased severity and greater challenges in treatment. Pneumonia, for instance, stands as a significant contributor to hospital admissions and mortality among older adults. What is particularly concerning is that, on numerous occasions, the infection may not present with a high fever or the typical symptoms we expect. Instead, older individuals may appear more bewildered, drowsier, or less inclined. There are subtle indications that all is not well. Another significant sign to consider is the gradual healing process of the skin. Minor injuries, including scrapes, cuts, or abrasions, may require several weeks for proper healing. In certain instances, these conditions may deteriorate over time, leading to ulcers, skin infections, and open wounds, particularly in regions subjected to heightened pressure, like the heels, hips, or back. The challenges in healing can be attributed, in part, to the inadequate circular zone. As the heart pumps less blood and the vessels become less efficient, nutrients and oxygen struggle to reach the extremities. The absence of these crucial components can hinder the natural healing journey. The skin, already delicate and fragile in older individuals, becomes increasingly susceptible. These wounds, referred to as pressure injuries or bed sores, necessitate careful and continuous attention. Despite the attention and care provided, complete healing often remains elusive. In more serious circumstances, infections can become persistent, resistant to standard treatments, and necessitate repeated hospital stays. In such situations, the frequent administration of antibiotics may provide short-term relief. However, it simultaneously undermines the intestinal health and immune system of older adults. The reality is that the body is revealing indications that it can no longer protect itself as it once did. When the cycle of infections and unhealed wounds recurs, it becomes essential to observe with care and sensitivity. Imposing aggressive treatments may not always be the most suitable option. The emphasis must be placed on prevention, alleviating symptoms, and most importantly, ensuring comfort. Maintaining skin hydration, providing a balanced diet, promoting gentle movements, and ensuring regular hygiene are straightforward measures that can significantly alleviate discomfort. When you observe that a loved one is frequently falling ill, or that minor injuries are taking longer to heal, it's important to recognize that their body is signaling a need for attention and care. It may be time to shift our approach from confrontation to companionship, embracing respect, love, and presence. Often, it is this very connection that brings the deepest healing in our lives. The essence lies not in the medications, but in the manner of care provided. 6. Endless evenings, perplexing afternoons. When rest transforms into a mystery. Have you ever observed how the sleep patterns of an older individual in your vicinity have shifted dramatically? There are days when he finds himself in a state of near constant slumber, punctuated by restless, bewildering nights filled with agitation and wakefulness. While these changes might appear to be a natural aspect of growing older, their persistence and intensification often suggest underlying issues that warrant attention. The body is getting ready to embrace a gentle transition. In the final months of life, it is not unusual for the body's biological clock, known as the circadian rhythm, to start to become unbalanced. This has a direct impact on the production of melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. The elderly may experience prolonged periods of sleep during the day, along with insomnia or restlessness at night. The intricate pattern of sleep and wakefulness not only disrupts the family routine but also indicates a decline in the brain's regulatory functions. The central nervous system, which plays a crucial role in regulating sleep patterns, no longer functions as it once did. Moreover, elements like bodily discomfort, breathing difficulties, medication effects, and even unnoticed infections can worsen this instability. One may find themselves sleeping extensively, yet still awaken, feeling fatigued. It is possible to take multiple naps during the day, even if you have had a full night's sleep. In more complex situations, one might find themselves slipping into a state of near constant drowsiness, gradually detaching from the surrounding environment. There are moments when an older individual appears restless during the night, rises without apparent cause, utters fragmented thoughts, or seems to be lost in a reverie. This phenomenon, referred to as nocturnal delirium, can be unsettling for family members, yet it is more prevalent than many realize among individuals nearing the end of their lives. When the brain lacks sufficient oxygen and nutrients, it starts to struggle with its ability to perceive reality accurately. This can lead to a sense of disorientation, particularly during the nighttime hours when the surroundings become dimmer and more tranquil. Often, there is simply no need for any adjustments. Imposing a rigid sleep schedule, using stimulants throughout the day, or sedatives at night may exacerbate the situation. In this stage, it is essential to adjust to the individual's new pace, providing a sense of calm and reassurance. Maintaining a gentle ambiance in the bedroom, adhering to a soothing nighttime ritual, and providing companionship during busy moments can significantly enhance well-being. Remaining engaged and observant, even during moments of diminished clarity, embodies a profound approach to caregiving. Should you observe a significant shift in the sleep patterns of a loved one, where day and night appear to have flipped or their sleep seems unusually deep, recognize that this could be a part of the natural journey of farewell. At this time, it is essential to prioritize a sleep that, despite its irregularity, remains peaceful, inviting, and enveloped in warmth and affection. As the body approaches its final moments, our responsibility is to gently hold their hand, ensuring they never experience solitude in this journey. 7. The far-off look and the profound quiet. The thoughts start to drift from the here and now. Have you ever sensed that a loved one is present, yet somehow distant? Their gaze may be fixed, but it seems to overlook the present moment. Words become few, and responses arrive slowly, as if their thoughts are wandering elsewhere. These signs may be subtle, yet they are frequently observed in the months preceding the end of life, revealing much about the brain's role in this farewell journey. As we age, it is common to experience some degree of memory loss or a slowdown in reasoning. However, when these changes intensify, occur more frequently, and are accompanied by feelings of confusion, disorientation, or emotional isolation, it is crucial to take notice. We are encountering a challenge that transcends mere age-related forgetfulness. During this phase, cognitive abilities may start to operate within a more restricted capacity. As blood circulation to various areas of the brain diminishes, neurons are deprived of essential oxygen and nutrients. Consequently, cognitive functions, including memory, language, and spatial orientation, start to decline. Older individuals might struggle to recall the names of loved ones, fail to recognize familiar surroundings, or become disoriented in straightforward discussions. In numerous instances, this condition varies. At one moment, the individual appears completely clear-minded, sharing stories with clarity and engaging with a sense of joy. However, after some time has passed, she might struggle to recall your identity or appear disoriented regarding her surroundings. This mental exchange can be unsettling, yet it is a frequent experience. A significant transformation is the tendency towards emotional withdrawal. The individual who is usually outgoing, chatty, and expressive starts to become more reserved, steering clear of lengthy discussions. He remains indifferent to visits or expressions of affection. She frequently finds herself in extended moments of quietude, taking in her environment with a deliberate calmness, as though she is gently detaching from the world around her. It is neither disdain nor indifference. the mind gradually retreating into itself. It feels like he is creating a tranquil sanctuary, a place of calm, a refuge for relaxation. Moreover, it is not unusual to experience a degree of uncertainty regarding the distinction between reality and memory. The senior individual may reflect on those who have departed, revisit moments from yesteryears as though they are unfolding in the present, or engage in conversation with an unseen presence. These experiences, no matter how peculiar they may appear, deserve to unfold without abrupt interruptions. They play a role in the transition process. Beyond mere correction, the goal is to engage with understanding and compassion. Provide companionship, offer a gentle touch, respond with kindness. If he expresses something that doesn't quite make sense, respond with empathy rather than trying to correct him. If it feels far away, remain nearby, even in quietude. In this moment, the essence lies not in the words spoken, but in the feelings conveyed through a glance, a gentle touch, and the warmth of the heart. If you observe that someone dear to you is experiencing a decline in mental sharpness, becoming increasingly reflective, or showing signs of emotional withdrawal, there is no need to lose hope. This may be the subtle expression of the body and mind preparing for what lies ahead. When we grasp this concept, we can turn the sorrow of loss into a cherished love that exists in the present moment. 8. Loose-fitting trousers and oversized tops, a visual disguise concealing a deeper message. Initially, it appears to be merely a minor detail. Those pants that used to fit snugly now slide comfortably around the waist. The beloved shirt, which once clung snugly to the body, now drapes comfortably over the chest. Initially, many perceive this as a typical consequence of growing older. Involuntary weight loss, particularly when paired with additional indicators of frailty, can serve as an early signal that there may be more significant issues at play. The initial signs of weight loss in older adults can be quite subtle, often going unnoticed at first. Initially, there is a decrease in body fat, which is then accompanied by a decline in muscle mass. The visage appears more delicate, the limbs seem to diminish in fullness, and the garments fit with an excess of space. Even when the scale doesn't reflect concerning numbers, the body is already communicating that something is shifting. This reduction in weight is frequently not directly associated with dietary changes or heightened physical activity levels. Conversely, even with a regular diet, the body begins to take in fewer nutrients. Changes in the digestive system, protein metabolism, or chronic diseases can quietly impact nutrition. Conditions like heart failure, kidney failure, cancer, or ongoing inflammatory processes may contribute to these changes. Furthermore, the reduction of muscle mass, known as sarcopenia, hastens the process of physical decline. As individuals age, they may experience a decline in strength, balance, and independence. It is at a higher risk for falls, fractures, and infections. This loss, once established, poses a significant challenge to reverse. Another element to consider is the emotional condition. Feelings of sadness, worry, isolation, and lingering sorrow can significantly impact one's desire to eat and overall motivation to maintain a healthy appetite. When food loses its essence, the table stands bare, not merely of sustenance, but of significance. Numerous family members attempt to enhance their loved ones' diets by providing cherished meals, vitamins, and supplements. However, this approach does not always yield the desired results. When the body experiences decline, it becomes less responsive to stimuli than it once was. Pressing the issue may lead to unease. In such situations, it is often wise to shift the emphasis. The focus should be on providing nourishment that brings comfort, rather than solely on weight gain. Smaller servings of tender, flavorful foods that are simple to chew and swallow can be more beneficial than large, overwhelming meals. Moreover, the experience of dining should always be enriched by warmth, companionship, and shared moments. If you observe that a loved one is unexpectedly losing weight, with their clothes appearing increasingly loose each week, it's important to take this indication seriously. It transcends mere physical appearance. It serves as a mirror to our inner selves, encompassing both physical and emotional aspects. Seeking guidance from a healthcare expert is crucial. However, beyond assessments and medical evaluations, providing a safe haven is crucial. At times, the body communicates its fatigue, signaling that it is preparing for rest, and what it craves most in that moment is a sense of lightness, of meals that sustain and enrich, yet also of words that provide solace, of more relaxed attire. Yet the bonds of affection grow stronger. Ultimately, it is not the physical form that determines our presence, but the love we continue to share. Reaching this point, you might be feeling a weight in your heart. Perhaps you are reflecting on a cherished individual. Perhaps you find yourself fully immersed in the present moment, observing the delicate cues in your beloved, contemplating the best course of action, and striving to be fully engaged in the moment. In reality, farewells often arrive unexpectedly. However, when the body starts to reveal its quiet messages, we encounter a unique chance, an opportunity to transform the remaining moments into meaningful experiences. Recognizing these signs early on does not equate to despair. It signifies the process of becoming aware. It signifies trading urgency for mindfulness. It signifies prioritizing compassion rather than seeking dominance. It's perfectly okay not to have every answer figured out. There's no need to mend what cannot be healed. However, it is possible to embrace love with a sense of tranquility. Listening with your heart allows for deeper understanding. One can grasp a hand with greater purpose. In the final chapters of life, even the smallest gestures take on a timeless significance. A glance, a gentle caress, a moment cherished together. These are the moments that endure. Even when the words fade away and the mind starts to drift, the essence of love remains palpable. Love transcends the limitations of physical strength. He resides in the unseen realm that connects two souls who understand one another. As you navigate this journey, remember to pause and take a deep breath. You are not alone in this journey. Many individuals experience the quiet heartache of witnessing a loved one gradually fade away. By recognizing the signs, you can transform pain into a meaningful experience. Ambiguity in caregiving. The goodbye and cherished affection. This love indeed is what endures. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.